Billion-dollar business ideas. Number 10. IVF clinics. So here's something that will blow your mind. In 2024, 2% of the babies born in the USA were from IVF. That's literally 1 out of every 50 kids. And that number is only going to get higher. This isn't some super rare thing that only a few people do anymore. It's slowly becoming the future of how people have kids. Why? Because people are having kids later in life. In fact, the average age someone has their first child has gone up by 1.5 years in the past decade. What this means is that it becomes a lot harder to conceive naturally. And the older you are, the harder it gets. So if you want to have a kid, eventually IVF goes from being one of the options to being the only option. And this isn't like a gacha game where you spend a few dollars, do a few rolls, and stop even though you didn't get the character you wanted. For a lot of people that want to start a family, they will do whatever it takes to make that happen. Just listen to what people are saying about this. I will not let myself be robbed of my family vision over some money. I'll just work an extra year. We gave up buying a home to pay for this. I asked myself, if I'm 60 years old, childless, will I wish I had $20,000 or will I wish I'd tried? So as you can probably guess, IVF is pretty expensive. It can cost anywhere between $20,000 to $60,000. And people are happily paying that because if this works and they end up with a child because of this, that's priceless. So you have a growing market of people with a problem they're highly motivated to solve and pay tens of thousands of dollars to solve it. From a business point of view, this combination of intense demand, pricing, and growing market is where the billion-dollar opportunity is. Number 9. AI companions. So things like AI friends, girlfriends, and boyfriends. It's kind of a bleak future if you think about it, but from a money-making point of view, this is probably one of the best businesses to ever exist. There's no physical product you have to make, the margins are insanely high because it's software, and there's insanely high demand. Like tens of millions of people using this levels of demand. The business model has recurring subscription payments, and it's super sticky since people don't want to lose the connections that they've made, so the lifetime value is really high. People are already spending a ton of time talking to AI characters. Just take a look at things like Character.ai or Replica. The metrics for these are insane. 187 million monthly visits for Character.ai, and the people are staying on the website for an average of 16 minutes, and that's just for their website. Their app has more than 10 million downloads and 1.6 million reviews. This isn't the only one either. Replica AI also has more than 10 million downloads. But here's the crazy part. This is still early. Right now, it's still text-based. Imagine what happens when the avatar becomes fully animated, the voice sounds real, and the AI trains itself on your personality. I wouldn't be surprised if in the future people spend their entire day on FaceTime with AI characters. Number 8. Animated movies. So check this out. This is a movie called Neja 2. This made $2.2 billion and became the highest grossing animated movie in the entire world. But the crazy thing about this is that when you compare it to a live action movie like Snow White, which cost $270 million to make, and flopped so hard that it went from being a fantasy movie to being meme material, Neja 2 only cost $80 million to make and made $2.2 billion. Even after cinemas take their 50% cut, they probably made somewhere around $1.1 billion. By the way, the first one cost $22 million to make and made $742 million. These movies are literally printing money. I think a reason why is because a lot of movies nowadays kinda suck. They always try and shove some ethical or moral lesson into the movie, and I think people are getting tired of being told that they're a horrible person. Animated movies like Inside Out 2, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, or Neja 2 are more like the classic movies, and they focus more on telling a good story and being entertaining. Sure, they also have lessons in them as well, but they're more subtle and actually relatable, unlike the thing they tried pulling with Snow White or any of the movies in the Oscars. Plus, with animated movies, you can actually have stories which are a lot harder to do in person, like Ratatouille or Kung Fu Panda. So I think there's probably an opportunity in this to become the next Pixar. Number 7. Being a YouTuber and starting your own company. The obvious example is Mr. Beast and Feastables, but there's also Alex Hormozi with Acquisition.com and School, Logan Paul and KSI with Prime, Mark Rober with Crunch Labs, Ryan Trahan with Joyride Candy. But there's so many more opportunities in this than you see right now. So the basic idea behind this is that you become a popular YouTuber and you leverage that fame and following to launch your own business. Right now, a lot of the YouTubers that are doing this are focusing on consumer goods and physical products like snacks, drinks, and candies. But I think more and more people will start expanding into other businesses as well, like an entertainment YouTuber launching their own mobile game studio, or like how the biggest kids YouTube channels like Blippi and Cocomelon were acquired, and now they're running shows across the country, and they're all booked out. There was even an Indian education-based YouTuber called PhysicsWallah who launched an app, and now that app is worth $2.8 billion. This is pretty much the same thing as becoming a celebrity and then using that fame to launch your own business. But now, instead of being at the mercy of some TV producer, you can actually create content and try to get known yourself. By the way, if you want to find out about interesting business ideas, sign up to my email newsletter at bizexplorer.co. Number 6. Anti-aging/longevity clinics. Spoiler alert, people don't want to die, and they want to live as long as they can. They also want to be healthy as well. I'm sure you've seen Brian Johnson by now. A guy who's trying to live as long as possible, spending $2 million a year to reverse his age, building a cult of people that don't want to die. By the way, if you think that's a stupid thing to do and death is inevitable, yeah, sure, but that doesn't mean you can't do anything to live longer. You already know that eating deep fried food and smoking is bad for your health, and if you don't do that, you'll be healthier and live longer. This is just taking that idea and optimizing what you eat and what you do for a more fulfilling life. And for a lot of people, that also means having a few extra years of being alive. So let's get to the $1 billion opportunity for this. I think there's an opportunity to create a company for anti-aging and helping people live longer. Kind of like the Mayo Clinic. For example, it's wild to think that you could have cancer developing for years and not know until it's too late. And if you did find it before, everything would have been fine. So one of the services you could provide is doing MRI scans every year to see if you're developing any cancers, and if you are, you can get them removed early on. Also, blood tests you do with the normal doctor don't measure things like testosterone, estrogen, or your hormones. I know this because I've tried getting this done, and the doctor just looked at me funny. Right now, people think that you're the weirdo if you want to find out about things like that when there's nothing wrong with you. But I think a lot of people will want to know their health metrics so they can optimize their health and not just react when there's something wrong. Like, just take a look at how many people are buying testosterone supplements on Amazon. 80,000 units, 20,000 units sold, 30,000 units. And the thing about this business is that you're generally going to be targeting people that can actually afford higher prices. So you can afford to charge them $5,000 to $10,000 per year. Plus, this isn't something that you just do once and forget about it. So your customers stay with you for a long time as well. Number 5 is new school. Let's be real, school is incredibly inefficient. It was designed in the 1900s when the goal was to churn out factory workers. They make you learn stuff that's completely useless. Like, why do I need to know which date Alexander conquered the known world? Also, progress is limited by the slowest person in class. Let's say you do one sheet of maths questions every week, and it only takes you like 20 minutes to do it, and you have nothing else to do for the other 40 minutes. The entire class can't move on until everybody is done. Why can't you just do 3 sheets in one class and get 3 times faster results? Why can't you spend 5 hours each day for a week straight and be like a year ahead of everyone else that's still at week 1? Also, let's talk about uni. I think that 95% of the degrees that exist are an absolute scam. I know because I have 2 of them. They're overpriced and they teach you useless stuff that's outdated. So for example, in a marketing subject, one of the questions was how would you market a charity? And the people teaching the subject were only accepting answers like partner with an existing bank and then, I don't know, send out a press release. Like, what the hell? And if you mentioned anything like make videos on TikTok or YouTube, that was just dismissed and looked as stupid. No, it's not stupid, it's literally the most powerful way to let people know about your stuff in the entire history of the world. Also, the fact that they pressure young people into $50,000 worth of debt for a degree that's completely useless is one of the most evil things I've seen in this world. And I haven't even mentioned how AI and ChatGPT have completely destroyed the entire methodology that schools and unis use to teach you stuff, which is to memorize things, which, by the way, you forget about the moment you leave the exam. I think there's a $1 billion opportunity in building a school that's actually designed for the world of today, and that actually teaches you useful skills, not things that might have been useful in the 1900s. Like a lot of the things in this video, the thing about this business model is that you can charge high prices, probably around $30,000 to $50,000 per year per kid. And they stay for many years as well. And if you're thinking that's really expensive, yeah, it is. But if you compare it to how much people are paying to study at Harvard, it's around the same or even a bit lower. Kids are the biggest investment people will ever make. And there are a lot of parents that will pay that much if it means that their kid will get a higher level in life. Also, a bonus idea, you could sell a $5,000 per year curriculum for people that homeschool their kids because the current school system isn't good enough. Number 4 is private equity. This is the game that huge business influencers like Alex Hormozi are playing. He's not the only one. There's also Cody Sanchez and Andrew Wilkinson who are doing the same thing. Let me give you a basic overview of how this works using real estate as an example. So the goal with real estate is to buy a property that's undervalued, has high growth potential, or is something that you can improve. You can then rent it out and get some cash flow, and if the price of the property goes up in the future, you can sell it for a profit. Or if it's a fixer-upper, you can spend some money making it better and then sell it for a profit. Or you can do some combination of all those things. Private equity is pretty much the exact same thing, but instead of buying and selling real estate, you buy and sell businesses. This is interesting because apparently private equity is one of the most common ways people become billionaires. Number 3 is ocean mining. So this idea comes from a video I saw from Johnny Harris. The $1 billion opportunity with this is that there's $16 trillion worth of precious metals sitting on the floor in the Pacific Ocean. These are the metals that you need for things like phones, electric cars, batteries, and pretty much every piece of modern tech in the entire world. Right now, there's legal tape holding countries back from mining this, but that won't be the case forever. Very soon, everyone's gonna be going after this. It's literally the next gold rush, but this time it's underwater. There's already a company called The Metals Company which is worth $1.8 billion because they're in the best position to take advantage of this. They're literally making massive machines to vacuum up these metal balls off the ocean floor. The environmental impact is what's holding it back right now, but the demand for these metals is so high, there's no way this doesn't happen. Plus, I think when you compare it to how much damage mining on land causes, this doesn't seem so bad in comparison. Number 2 is stem cell therapy. This is probably one of the most world-changing things that can happen in the future. So the basic idea behind this is that stem cells are kind of like a blank slate and can turn into any other type of cell. What this means is that you can use stem cells to repair, regrow, and replace damaged cells. So for example, if you damage your kneecap, stem cells can help repair it. Cristiano Ronaldo actually did this to recover faster. If you have back pain issues, stem cells can help with that as well. Rafael Nadal, one of the goats of tennis, actually got this done. Burn victims can regrow skin, and for people that have type 1 diabetes, stem cells could help regrow their insulin-making cells. Even things like vision or hearing loss, and potentially even hair loss, and that by itself would be a multi-billion-dollar market. But the thing about this is that even though the potential is really high, so is the research and approval that's needed for this, especially in the US where there's a lot more regulations. Which is why a lot of people are even spending $10,000 to $50,000 to fly overseas and get stem cell treatment done. They always say that it's 10 years away, but when this finally does become mainstream, this will probably change the world. Number 1 is AI video. Out of all the things in this video, this is probably the one that terrifies people the most. Just take a look at how insane AI video is already. Okay, but seriously, AI video is getting terrifyingly good really fast. So the thing about AI video is that in a world where people spend most of their time on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, if you have AI that can pump out thousands of pieces of content every single day and people can't even tell that it's AI, or to be honest care that it's AI because it's still giving them dopamine, then soon the entire internet gets flooded with AI content. But I'm not here to tell you that AI is like Thanos for content creators. So before I get replaced with AI, let me tell you how this is a $1 billion opportunity. So when OpenAI launches AI images, a lot of other companies decided to do the same thing, like Stable Diffusion or Hugging Face, and they became $1 billion companies as well. Now for building the underlying model for AI video, I don't think you'll be able to compete with huge companies like Google, Facebook, Meta or X, but I think there is an opportunity for applying this tech. There's 2 ways I see this happening. The first is taking those AI video models and using them for a specific use case. So for example, making a tool that helps people make AI ads for a thing they want to sell. There's an app called Creati AI that did something like that for products, and they got 10 million users in the past year. You could also do things like AI animation and movie storyboarding. Or the second option, which I think will be the thing that actually happens, which is using AI to flood the internet with content and taking over the world. Let me show you how this is already happening. Take a look at this channel called Chill Dude Explains. He uploads every single day, and in the past month he's gotten 13.9 million views. That's around $36,000 to $60,000 just in the past month. But the thing is, the videos he makes are mainly AI. The voice is AI, the script is heavily AI based. I'm pretty sure even the stick figure animations are AI. And I'm guessing what he does is edit everything together. If you take a look at the comments for his videos, people are absolutely loving the videos. There's not even a single comment saying that it's AI. Oh my god, how does bro spit these out every day? These are freaking amazing. I'm so glad I found this channel. I love it. Thanks for your videos, mate. You pumping out a lot of them, which I like. But take care of yourself too. There's also another channel called Blue which also posts every single day, and they have 2.5 million subscribers. And they've probably made more than $1 million from that channel as well. So the idea is, what if you create like 20 channels for every single niche and post like 3 times a day? What if you create hundreds of VTubers, each with different personalities and lore, and then flood Twitch? What if you make thousands of AI girls and post them on Instagram? Sure, some people will be able to tell before the tech is good enough, but from what I've seen with the Chill Dude Explains channel and a lot of others like that, I don't think people will actually care about that much. And the thing is, when you have the attention of billions of people, you pretty much control the entire world.